Well, good morning, guys. We are live once again. I invite you to come join me for a few minutes as we look through another few verses of Scripture. Part of our daily devotion is 8 minutes after 10 a.m. on this kind of snowy Thursday morning, the 24th day of January 2019. Give you a few seconds to pop on here. Alrighty. Good morning, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Kind of got a few verses of Scripture and a story that I want to share with you. I've used this story in the past several times, actually, through my years of ministering, preaching, and I really love the meaning of this story. I love the message of this story. Because listen, there's no secret that we go through heartaches, we go through troubles and struggles in our life. You can look in the book of Job and read about all the troubles and woes that he had. And we know that in Job we find the scripture that says that man is born of a woman and are a few days and full of trouble. You know, there's a lot of trouble, a lot of heartaches, a lot of sadness in life. But I want you to know there's also a lot of good times, a lot of blessings as well. And we'll get to the scripture in a moment, but the title, if I could title this devotion this morning, is simply, "My cross is too heavy to bear." You know, how many of us feels like what we're going through in our life is just too much for us to handle? And trust me, I'm not making light of anybody's situations. I'm not making light of anybody's troubles and heartaches that we go through, because, you know, we will go through heartaches. We will go through tough times. But aren't you thankful today that no matter what trouble, no matter what heartache that we are facing, that our God is greater than anything that we face? I don't understand why a lot of people endure such an unimaginable amount of suffering. Listen, I've said this many a times. If sickness, if troubles fall upon me, I wouldn't be happy about it, but I would much rather bear it than I would than my wife or my children. You know, but there are people who suffers. There are people, you know, that watch their children suffer, and it's unimaginable pain. But I want you to know that God's grace is sufficient, that He will never leave us nor forsake us. And I read this story, like I said, a long time ago, and I want to share it again. It said, one night a man came to God in prayer with tears flowing from his eyes, telling how heavy his cross was and how he could not bear it any longer. And God heard his prayer, and that night in a dream, he found himself standing in the presence of Jesus. Jesus took the cross from him and laid it aside and led him into the room and said, "Listen, there are countless of crosses here. You look around and you find the cross that you think that you're able to carry and that you're able to bear." So the man looked upon the crosses available and he shuddered. There were huge dark crosses, and with some crosses that had thorns, other crosses had nails, some that were too big to lift, some that was too light, some that was too awful to even describe. It says, then his eyes fell upon a small cross, one that he felt that he could carry. And so he went to Jesus and he said, "I found a cross that I know that I'm able to carry." And he pointed to that small cross, and he walked over and he grabbed it, and Jesus smiled and he placed his hands upon the man's shoulders and said, "But my child, that is the cross that you came in here with." Folks, listen, what I'm trying to tell you this morning is we may not think that we're able to bear our crosses, our troubles, our struggles in life, but there is a scripture out there that so many people uses that is misquoted and misunderstood, and that is when they say that God will not give you more than you can bear. Listen, God doesn't put the burdens on us. God doesn't put sickness on us. God doesn't have the heartaches and the troubles of this life. He doesn't put them on us. What the actual scripture is in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. It says, "There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man." In other words, anything that you're facing, it's nothing new. Somebody else has gone through it before you have. It says, "But God is faithful, who will not suffer or allow you to be tempted above that ye are able." But it goes on. It don't stop there. But it goes on and says, "But will with the temptation also make a way to escape it, that ye may be able to bear it." So listen, folks, I want you to know it's more than, well, God won't let you have more than you can bear. Don't blame God for evil. Don't blame God for sin. Don't blame God for things that sometimes we cause on our own. But understand that God is faithful and that He will not allow more on us than we can handle, without giving us an escape. Because why? God is faithful. And then you go on into Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10, and it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." Folks, understand this morning that if you're bearing a burden, if you're carrying something that you just feel like you just cannot carry, I want you to understand, first and foremost, you don't have to carry your burdens alone. You don't have to go through any sadness and heartaches and troubles that this life throws at us. You don't have to go through it alone. That you do have help. And His help, then our help is Jesus Christ. And, listen to this. Every one of us in life has a cross to bear. I don't care who you are. I don't care your status in life. I don't care, how old you are, from a little infant all the way up to the oldest person on the earth. Everybody has a cross to bear. In other words, everybody has trouble in this life. Whether it be illness, whether it be birth defects, learning disabilities, addiction, poverty, these things are visible crosses. But then there's also crosses that maybe people don't see. Maybe such as anxiety or depression, lack of faith, lack of trust. Things that maybe people don't really see with the naked eye. Maybe you're hiding something. But regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what you're facing, know that God is right there. He is faithful, and He will give you a way of escape. I like this here in Luke chapter 9, verse 23. And this was Jesus, and He said to them all, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me." He's trying to tell you, listen, you're going to suffer. You're going to have sadness. You're going to have disappointments. You're going to go through some rough patches in your life. But take up thy cross and follow me. Take up thy cross daily. Whatever you're facing, whatever the burden is, lift it up and follow me. It'll be worth it. God is faithful. God will give you strength. He'll give you a way of escape. Folks, listen, it's sad, and I wish that I could tell you that I have an answer, an explanation of why, children in our families would suffer or people going through things, but I don't have an answer. All I can tell you is God is faithful, and He'll get you through. Trust in Him. But I love the story. He walked in with a cross that he couldn't bear, that he couldn't handle. And as he walked around looking at all the different crosses, the heaviness and the length and just different types of crosses, he finally found one that he said, "I know I can bear this." And it was the one that he had to begin with. Christ knows exactly what we can handle, and He'll give us strength to handle what comes our way. Listen, that's all I got for you today. Trust in the Lord. Trust in Him. Cast your cares upon Him, for He cares for you. Alrighty, listen. If you don't care, share this video. Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow with another devotion. So thanks for watching. Love y'all. God bless you.